Recalculating Route, a show about taking a new direction with your life. Here's your host, Christy Atwood.
Well, hello, and welcome to Recalculating Route. I'm your host, Christy Atwood. I am so excited today. We're talking about vision boards, and I love talking about this. And I have these enthusiastic friends that decided to join me because they didn't want to see me talking to myself. So thank you so much, Kimberly Broussard and Nathan Barnaba. I so much appreciate you.
Anytime, Christy.
Anytime.
Y'all are so awesome to join me for this. We're talking about beyond the vision board because honestly, the thing that drives me crazy is that people have this wrong view of vision boards, kind of like it's the genie, and you rub the magic lamp and suddenly get it. Like those people who say, oh, I went out and I got a beautiful picture of a Mercedes and I put it on my vision board. And then I went out into my driveway and oh my gosh, there was no Mercedes in my driveway. Surprise. That's not really how all of this works. Okay. So what I wanted to give you a chance to think about today is some different ways to look at vision boards. I'm going to give you some tips on some ideas of ways to make them that will work for you because you want to make it tailored to you. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't matter if you're doing it like everybody else does. You don't need to do it like everybody else does. So we're going to talk about how you can make it work just for you. And some of the things that we'll talk about today, you can be as creative as you like or not. Because honestly, I am not that creative a person. I use tools very well, but I'm not that creative. So what we're going to be talking about is some different ways you can do vision boards that come out nice looking for you. And yet they don't take a lot of that painting stuff and all that kind of stuff. So, okay, first question I want to ask Kim and Nate. Have y'all ever done a vision board before?
I have.
Yes.
You have? Okay. And was it a good experience for you? Did it help you focus on things?
The first time I did it, no. I gave up. Like I had it on the wall and everything, and then nothing came. As you said, I didn't get that car. I didn't get that money. So I hid it. But I did it again for this year. And actually, two things came true so far. So maybe it's the focus.
Wow. Okay, that's really good. That's cool to hear.
That's impressive.
And that's the thing. It's about the focus,
Mm-hmm.
And Kim, you had fun trying one before?
Yes, I'm a visual person. So I made sure that I put my vision board where I would see it every day so that it was a constant reminder and it was not left on the back burner. And so I made sure that when I had my vision board, I had a plan to make sure that whatever I envisioned or my goals were, I achieved them.
Rocking. That's cool. And I believe, well, you're focused. You achieve things. I see that happening quite often with you because you have these goals. You've seen it too, Nate, huh? So, yes. There's these things that she gets her mindset on and she does them. And so the vision board just becomes that representation of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the representation of everything that you're dreaming about. And that's what we want it to be instead of some sort of magic thing. Some of the best things that happen with a vision board. Let's talk about some real stuff here. Even if you don't create a vision board, I'm going to recommend that you think about some of these processes and some of the questions that you can ask yourself. Because honestly, just taking the time to assess and kind of find out where you are right now in life is the biggest part of the vision board. Because, honestly, think about it. You don't have the same goals you had when you were 5 years old.
Mm-mm.
The whole idea of the ballerina veterinarian, that's just right out the window, right? So that's not there anymore. So you have to be able to stop and say, okay, I had dreams when I was even in high school that I said, oh, this is what I want to be. But the world has changed and you have changed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time to stop and ask questions about where you are right now. And so the whole vision board process, I mean, if nothing else, get your journal out and make notes in it about things that are important to you. Think about, what matters most. If you were on a sinking ship and somebody said, okay, what are all the things that are important? Everything that's important to you is a suitcase. Okay. And so, okay, here's what we do then. We say, all right, so this suitcase, oh, this one's my family. This is my family. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, this suitcase, oh, that's my writing or whatever my talent is. Oh, and this suitcase is my career. Okay, now the ship starts sinking, and you have to throw one of those out. Which one do you let go? Now you're prioritizing what's really most important to you.
Mm.
Those last two are more important. And then if you had to decide it again because the ship goes further down and you can only have one of those suitcases, okay, now you know the one that matters the most. So being able to stop and prioritize and decide what really matters to you, not to 5-year-old you or not what sounds good, but what really matters to you as a person. And down deep in there, that's what you're looking for. And some great things to ask yourself are things like this one. What's my idea of a perfect day? What was really funny is when I went through some really grief-stricken periods, losing my parents and all. And for me, I had to stop and sit down and think, oh, what's good? What's happy again? What's fun stuff? And for me, it was sitting down and saying, my idea of a perfect day. And I sat down and I thought exactly what things would make me happy on that day. And the cool thing is, yes, some of those made it on my vision board, but some of them I realized were already happening. I just wasn't appreciating them.
Mm.
And so the questions you ask are going to make a difference. And what makes me feel like I'm on the right track? Best way to be able to tell this one is like, think about the last 6 months. Okay? Stop, think hard. Think about one day where you went, oh my gosh, this was the best day ever. Oh God, this one of those days where you said, oh, this is what I should be doing, or this is what I'm all about, or this is my purpose in life. Did you have one of those days? If it is, that's something you need to look more closely into. That's something you need to start thinking about as a possible goal for your vision board. So this is a time of self-discovery, stopping and asking those questions about what makes you happy so that you get past all the stuff that's built up over the years, because you got all these layers over the years, and we say, things like, oh, yes, I want to go and live at the beach and all that. But if you're the kind of person who doesn't really like sand between your toes, well, then that's not really the goal for you anymore, is it? So stopping and being real about what your goals are is going to be a big part of your vision board. Don't think of anything that would be included in your perfect day.
I've been thinking about all of these questions since
Uh-huh.
I saw them on the screen, and it's gonna have to take a little bit of soul searching. But I do want to ask a question, Christy. I know that you said that you need to ask yourself these questions about your goals. How often should you do this? Should you assess your goals every year, every other year? How often should you do this?
I would do them at least
Soul
once a
searching.
year. But
Mhm.
honestly, anytime that you start feeling like there's something more or that you're missing something or you just need to kind of get back on track, it's worth it to sit down and ask these questions again and just put them into your journal, sit down, take some time writing it and let it sit for a while, go back and look at it. And you're going to start seeing themes appearing. And those themes are like signals to you that are telling you this is something that you need to think about. This is something you need to do. And that's where kind of the magic part of the vision board comes in. It's the magic is not in the board, it's in you. And that's what you're trying to work towards is finding that perfect spot where those things that you're doing and those things you dream about intersect. And that's the vision.
I love that the magic is not in
I
the
do.
board, it's in you.
That makes
You
so
very
much sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's real. Yeah, thank you. Yes, because it's real. That's what we're talking about is, we always, like the people who are waiting for the Mercedes in their driveway, that's waiting for somebody else to do it for you. That's waiting for the world to make decisions for you. And instead, we want to take control. I don't want somebody else to decide what my life is going to be about. I want to decide that myself. So that's kind of an important one to keep in mind. Welcome to Lori, who came into the room, by the way. Thanks for whoever let her in. Uh, I wouldn't let her in, but what the heck. She's my college roommate. Wonderful person. Lori, you can come on camera if you want to, or if you don't want to, you can put stuff in chat anytime. Okay, so these are some of the ideas of the questions that you would ask yourself, but there is an even bigger question. There is the magic question, and that is why. That's one we forget about. I have people all the time putting on their vision board dollar signs. I want $1 million. Yeah, that's real nice. Why? That's the thing. If you don't have the why behind it, it's not going to be effective. Wanting to have $1 million, that's great. But if you said you wanted to have $1 million, why? Think of any reasons. Can you come up with something that would be a reason why you might want $1 million?
To
Oh,
take
you're
care
speaking
of
to
your
me?
family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, okay. What was yours, Nathan?
To take care of your family.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Okay. Now your goal has a meaning behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Kim, you see what I'm talking about there too?
Yes, but I can't think of anything meaningful. I think about selfish reasons why I want.
Well, you know what? Self-care is also a valid reason.
I was thinking about traveling.
And hey, that's okay
Ooh.
too. That's it. But not just money for money's sake. But the what, the why of, why do you want it? What are you going to use it for? I mean, think about the things that you can do with money. For some of us, it might just be, I want it for security. I'm scared about the future. I don't know what's going to happen. Everything that's going on nowadays. I'm scared and I want it for that. That's an okay reason too. But to be able to travel and meet new people, to be able to make a difference in the world, to be able to take care of your family, to be able to have some fun, and appreciate your days here. It doesn't matter what the why is. All that matters is that it resonates with you.
Hmm.
And so you don't put anything on your vision board without having a why. And that's going to make it stronger. That much more than just pictures cut out of a magazine. Questions or comments?
You're gonna make me go back and edit my vision board because I'm missing some whys.
Yes. Yes. And I'm trying to think if I've ever put money on my vision board before. I think I'm one of those.
That's quite understandable. I've done workshops and people have put everything on their vision board from, home improvements and things. That's okay. If they're trying to make their home, more wonderful for their family, or they're trying to make it a place that they love being, or they realize they're going to be quarantined in it and they want it to be nice, whatever. But that's all I'm saying is just make sure you have a why. It's not just the possession of things. It's what the purpose and why it's going to be important to you. You know how it is. Like, remember when you were a kid and those Christmases where you would get so many tons of things that you didn't appreciate any one thing as much as you could have.
Mm-hmm.
And when you just get that one, it's like for me, if I get a huge pack of pens, I lose them all. But if I buy one pen and it's really nice, I'm going to protect that pen. So kind of being more selective about our goals helps with that. These are just some things to keep in mind.
I love it. I love it.
Y'all are so supportive. I love it. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at some of the basics, okay? You decide, okay, I am going to get in my zone and I'm going to create a vision board. What do I want to do? Okay, here are the basics, okay? The things that you're going to want to do. You're first going to do your honest self-assessment. Now, I'm going to suggest you do this on your own, quietly, away from everybody. Close the door. No, not even the dog is allowed in. So you and your thoughts get together and ask some questions. This is not a commercial, but that's why I ended up doing the Book of Me, because it has a whole bunch of the questions in there. But you can find questions online to ask yourself. Things like, what are your greatest talents? Are you using them? What roles would you like to devote more attention to? What are some things that you love to do that you don't do anymore? Things like that. To start finding out more about yourself. Ask a lot of questions and make a lot of notes. Okay? That's the first step. So you're going to have all these notes. What I want you to do then, I want you to go back through those notes and I want you to highlight things that you see recurring in those notes that you've taken. So you're going to see things, you're going to see words that are keys to you that you say, oh, apparently I really do need some security. I'm nervous about things. I'm anxious about a lot of things. Or I'm not doing anything fun anymore. Fun seems to be a word that I need to put onto my vision board. That kind of stuff. So start noticing the recurring themes, and that's going to help you start seeing the things that are important to you. From there, once you start narrowing it down, you get a list of those and have that list with you as you sit down. You can look at pictures in magazines. You can, for me, I like digital stuff. So I actually went and did a search online. I would just Google any of the things that I was interested in and find cool pictures. And that was just a cool way to be able to start gathering a whole bunch of them. And I had a folder with a ton of pictures in there. And then I ended up kind of changing it all around. I'll show you that in a minute. But just start gathering those. And then you think about the format. Now, the cool thing is, it doesn't have to be a board. It does not have to be pictures. Honestly, if you find things that represent those things that are important to you, that's fine. If you love crystals and one of yours is, I want to develop mindfulness, that crystal can be your reminder. That can be part of your vision board. It could be you could have a little box and just have some little items in there that you touch every so often to remind you of what's important to you. It doesn't have to be a board. And I'll show you what other formats I've used too. As a matter of fact, because I am not artistic, what I did, and I'll tell you, this is the secret of one of my boards. What I did, and I even have it on my phone, a different one that I did. But what I did was I took pictures of objects that made me feel really good about my goals. And then what I did, I took a picture and then I put them into I just found one of those little art apps, those photo apps. Mm-hmm. And I created art out of my photos. And then because I'm not all that creative about arranging things, there's a lot of places that can help you with that. In fact, if you have the latest version of PowerPoint, I don't know if you've ever used it, but over on the right side of the bar up at the top, it says design ideas. And you can click on it and it'll start giving you ideas. So if you throw all your pictures on the page and start hitting that, it's going to start rearranging them. And in fact, here's what it did with these same pictures. It changed them a bunch of different ways. So it did the work for me. So I could do that and just have a whole bunch of different ones on there. There's also a lot of photo, like those collage programs and stuff. To put it on there and create something like that. The reason I liked doing it like this for me was the fact that then, yes, I was able to actually, have it with me at all times. And I mean, love that. You keep your phone with you at all times. Mm-hmm. Every time you open your phone, if that vision board is looking you in the eyes, man, talk about a way to remind you what's really important.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
so
I agree.
So get beyond the fact that it just has to be a board. It can be anything to represent stuff that's important to you. Does that make sense?
It makes so much sense. And I'm with Nathan. Now I'm going to throw out my old vision board. I'm going to start from scratch because I never thought about digging deep within myself and figuring out not only, what my goals are, what's important to me, but the why.
Yes, I definitely agree. And Christy, I do want to say that your book, The Book of Me, those questions actually did help me. I never thought so deep as I did as I read those questions, like, what does matter to me? What is important? So I really do appreciate that book because it allowed me to tap into places that I wasn't really familiar with or things that I forgot that actually make me happy. Mm-hmm. So that was a great start.
I'm so glad. Isn't it amazing that really nowadays you get to a point in your life where it's like, what is fun? What's fun to me?
Yes.
And it's hard to, it's like when you have free time, it's like, oh, I could do anything. What do I want to do? And you spend most of your time figuring out what you want to do and forget to do it. So yeah, I think a lot of what we're doing in life at this point is like excavating or trying to dig in to get where the real us is still back inside of there. That 5-year-old us that had no knowledge or no understanding of things that couldn't happen. And we need a little bit more of that in our lives. about it and to start thinking. Now the important thing too is now you do your board, and there is this little bit of magic that comes in here because now you have taken control, and the universe knows that you want this stuff. And if you keep your eyes open, you're going to start noticing. It's like if I told you right now, do not think of an elephant in a pink tutu.
It's too late.
There you go. You just
Right.
did it, didn't you? And that's what your vision board does, because you look at it and you see that picture of something that's important to you. And so, oh, you're going to be thinking about it more often. And so when you see things in the world that can help that happen, it's going to be so natural to you to think about, oh, I could do that. You know, it's like if you notice the signs where, like, oh, maybe you're on Facebook and there's somebody on there doing something real similar to what you want to do. You just go on there and say, hi, here I am. I want to talk to you. Can we be friends? Whatever. You start noticing the opportunities that are there. You start looking for things. Yeah, I remember when I was shopping for a car and I decided I wanted this certain kind of car. It seemed like every dead gum car on the road was that car all of a sudden. It happens that way. The same way with your vision board. If I am focused on this thing, everything around me is going to be like, oh, that's a piece of the puzzle. That would help. And it's really fun to start thinking about it that way. And then, of course, the part where we often fall down, take action. If the thing that I want is to move into a fine, big house, okay, that's great. I could sit and dream about it and go, oh, please, please, I want a big house, I want a big house. Or I could say, what could I do today that would put me a step closer to moving into that big, fine house? How about if I decluttered the house I'm in, like I'm getting ready to move, and started getting rid of stuff that I don't need, so that I'm like actually working towards moving into my new house? All of a sudden, I've started taking action. And it's going to make the next step happen and the next step. It's really amazing how these sort of things can work out. And then please do not be blind to the things that the universe sends you. It will happen. Synchronicities, coincidences, it is true. That will happen because you're focused on it. And you're going to notice, oh my gosh, this is somebody I could team up with to do something with. You know, we think the same. Oh my gosh, I love the way this person thinks. Oh my gosh, this person has the exact skills that I'm missing. You know, those kinds of things. Or, hey, you know what? I want to do this, but I want it to have more meaning. I could team up and do it for a nonprofit or some good like that. Looking for those kinds of things is going to take you that next step. And it's going to make your vision board become action instead of just a lot of pretty pictures. So that's the main things I talk about with the vision board. And that's the main things I ask you to keep in mind. It's the vision board and beyond. So I'd like to, you know, if y'all have any questions or anything that y'all would like to discuss, I'm going to look on my here and just see if we had any questions. I didn't look to see if I had anything on Facebook. But y'all have any questions? Anything you'd like to bring up?
I think what I like is the fact that you had the previous slide where you talked about being aware of the signs and taking action. I think if you have that vision board without a plan, it's just a dream board. So
Yeah.
it's important that you have that plan of action. It's a visual goal for you to work towards.
That is so true.
And I never thought about being aware of the blessings that the universe gives you with aligning you with people that can help you get to your goals.
It's amazing. And I mean, you know, it's that person in the elevator with you and you suddenly say, oh, wait, you're so-and-so, you know, and you get to have a discussion. But the main thing I always so remind people on that is that you don't want it to be like constantly, you know, working or stalking people or anything like that. Anytime you have a conversation with somebody, you need to go into it with the idea of how can I help you? And then it becomes a mutual thing, and it's not, you know, those people who are always trying to sell you things. Oh,
yes.
We don't want to go there. We want to instead always bring something to the table. Then we're making the world a better place at the same time as we're working towards our vision. I love this. Anne Marie has a really good point on Facebook. She's talking about it's always easier when you have the support from family or friends. It doesn't always work that way, though. It's all up to you. You are in charge. You are the one in charge of the true meaning of your vision board. Oh my gosh, that is so true.
I love that. I love that.
Isn't that perfect? Because
Yes.
that is exactly what we're talking about. You can talk about it, and you can, have this little board, and you can even have friends and family who say nice things about it, but don't really support it all that much because they think you're being all woo. But when it comes right down to it, you can make it a vision board and follow through, or you can make it something pretty that you have on the inside of your closet door. So we have the choice. We are in the driver's seat. It's kind of exciting to think of it that way. Boy, there's some great things we could do. The world is changing. We have all kinds of opportunities right now. And I mean, just the fact that I'm sitting here in my little room here, and I'm able to reach out to people all over the place. That's unbelievable. We couldn't do that not that long ago. And now we all have that opportunity. And the fact that we can share knowledge and we can share our goals together, that's incredible. So what has this brought any thoughts to your mind that you would bring up? Let's see here. Oh, let me see what else we got up here. Okay, good. Just nice comments. Okay. Did this bring up anything for you that you might think of that you would want to share or that you might want to suggest to people to avoid challenges with their vision board?
It did for me. I feel like the first time I did my vision board, I didn't do action. I wrote it down and I looked at it, but I didn't try to actually apply it. I thought it was all going to come to me. So that was a good point whenever you said, look for the signs. If there's people out there, connect with those people. You have to actually do the work to get whatever you want. The vision board is just a reminder.
Yeah. It's focusing your attention on it, and it's going to make it more obvious to you whenever something comes your way, but it's not going to do all the work for you. I mean, I know some people have these wonderful stories about it, the next day I won the lottery, and that's nice, but I don't want my future to be in the hands of possible things like a lottery or something like that. I want to be in control, just like Anne Marie was talking about. I want to be in control of what I'm going to do.
I think what I've learned through this webinar is that I think that when I initiated or started my vision board, I was just, okay, I want this, I want this, I want this, and this is what I want, this is what I want. And I didn't do the self-assessment, asking myself, what do I want? Why is this important to me? What is important to me? It wasn't meaningful. And so I think I skipped the self-assessment. And so that's what I'm going to go back and do is those self-assessments so that my board is more meaningful and it would enrich my life.
I love it. The cool thing, the first time I did a vision board, it wasn't a vision board. There was no such thing at that time. And I was just doing something to kind of support me because as a writer, you get down very easily because you get rejection. But at that point, I noticed that some of the rejection slips I got were very nice. They were handwritten from major syndication services. I mean, I got from the New York Times. I got from the LA Times. I got from King Features, which was the biggest feature syndicate service back then for newspaper columns and stuff. So I had these really nice list of these. And so I said, okay, this, they are rejections, but they're really nice. They said I had talent and stuff like that. So I made them into a little board and I put it by my computer. So every time I sat down to write again, those were staring me in the face. Rejections, but they were nice rejections. So without knowing it, I was creating my own sort of vision board. And from that, that kept me on track until I got published again and again and again. So that was 14 books ago.
That's awesome. And I think that's something else that we need to be mindful of, that, even though we might stumble and fall towards our goal, we have to get back up and keep on pushing.
Yep. It's only failure if we stay down.
Mm-hmm.
like they always say. I love that saying, and it's very true. So, so why not? Why not make this the year that you try something unbelievable? Like they call it. What do they call it? The big awesome goal or something like that. They have all these names for them. The big hairy audacious goal. Yeah, that's one of them. I like that. But why not? Why do we have to be small? Why do we have to think that we're limited by where we live when we have contact with people all over the world?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we have to think we're limited by things like our educational level or the fact that we have certain skills that we think aren't important? No, our skills are our magic, and every one of us has those. And the cool thing is, there is nobody in this world who is smarter than you. Nobody knows more than you do. They just
Mm-hmm.
know different things. The things that are different that you have, those are the ones that are your magic. And those are the ones that are going to be important for you. So finding those things that matter to you, the things you love to do, and starting to connect the dots and and then watching what the universe shows you.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of an exciting time to be thinking about that and to be coming up with your new goals for life.
I'm loving it. It reminds me of that saying, if you believe it, then you can achieve it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say something. A problem that I did when I first did my vision board was don't limit yourself. Think big. Think humongous. Like there's nothing that you can't achieve. If you
Yes.
like Kim said, if you think it, you can achieve it. Don't limit yourself with a small goal. Go for that big goal. You are enough, and you are great. You can do it. Go for it.
That's the thing we forget. We get caught in the mundane stuff every single day, and it's like, oh, I can't do anything else. No, you can. You can.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at your picture, your vision board every so often, and say, okay, yeah, I'm doing something mundane right now, but it's supporting me in being able to work towards this
Mhm.
goal. So it's not wasted time. Everything you do, you're learning something from it that is going to be helpful in the big thing that's important for you. I look back at the so many jobs that I've had, job after job. Man, that's scary, huh? I've had a whole lot of jobs, but I look back and every single one of them taught me a skill that has led me to where I am today. And this is
Mm-hmm.
exactly where I want to be. I love what
Mhm.
I do. So, yeah, don't ever think that you're doing something that you're wasting time. You're not. It's all got a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take another peek here. Let's see here. Yes, Nathan. Anne Marie said, you said it, Nate. You are enough. You are worth it. And that is what it's all about. That's the thing. And nobody else is going to do it for you. This is your time. This is your chance to be what you want to be in the world. And you're right, we can be anything. It can be as big as you want because every huge idea started by somebody saying, what if? And that's an exciting question.
Yes.
What if is almost as exciting as why? When you think about it, those are two, put those two together and you would be unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
so, so let's just what if ourselves into whole new worlds and have some fun with that. Y'all have any other questions or anything you'd like to ask? Or anybody else? Let's see here. Let me check and see if anybody on here had anything. Oh, hi, Malcolm. Great to see you. Yay. Okay. Hi, Priscilla. Oh, I'm glad that gave you chills. Thank you. Okay. And yeah, Priscilla, it's one of the Sensei sisters. Oh, they are so awesome.
That's awesome.
We've been talking about doing some kind of a
Mhm.
vision board workshop together sometime. They are just
Ooh.
yeah.
I'm excited. I can't wait to do
Glad.
my vision board, but I have to do some soul searching before
Good.
I get my board together.
Sit down, ask some questions, write it. It works better by writing by hand. Do you find that, Nathan? Like writing out this stuff by hand?
Yes.
Because on the computer, it seems like you get removed from it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's more personal. I have a journal, so when I was answering those questions, I was writing in the journal my answers, and it felt more personal. It was
Yes,
like I was pouring my heart out on a piece of paper, if that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
love that.
It
Yes,
helps.
I totally get that. Journaling is such therapy. It's a wonderful thing. I highly recommend it. But that's also a great way to have your vision board stuff all in one place and start building off of it. I hear a helicopter. The joys of working at home. I love it. Oh, gosh. Y'all, thank you so much for being on here with me tonight. This was just a
Anytime.
wonderful thing that y'all did. I appreciate it very much. And I appreciate our guest. Lori, thank you for being here, and Anne-Marie and Malcolm and Priscilla and anybody else that I've missed. Forgive me. But thank y'all for being with us today. And for all the people who watch this on YouTube, we certainly hope that your vision comes for you and becomes a real thing, that it's not just something that you put on a board, that it's something that comes out in your heart. So thank y'all so much for being with us today. And
Thank you.
we will see y'all next week. And until then, don't be afraid to recalculate your route too. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Recalculating Route. Join us next Wednesday evening at 6 Central